everybody, to tonight's Plumes of Hazard. I am Mask Blast 09, and here are my co-hosts and another person that we'll introduce in a second. We have Fubaka, the angstful vapor, and a man who has nothing.
Sriracha farts.
Got sriracha fart up there. I also got. Okay, now you can go.
And a man who has nothing better to do on night but come hang out with these fools. Flitzy, everybody.
What's up? Hi.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's in your earth tone.
It's been quite some time since we've had you on.
Wait, has he ever come on? I don't think he's come on in a formal capacity.
Not in a formal capacity.
That's right. Yeah.
Not just Flitz. I think you may have come on other episodes.
Yeah.
Yes. That sounds right. We've all hung out on like in a live scenario.
Right, where we
I think I've done more actual hanging out with Flitz than Google hanging out.
Wait a minute. What do you mean other episodes?
I feel like he may have come on for an anniversary episode.
I thought so too. I thought
he came on for an anniversary episode or
No, definitely. I thought he'd been on as a regular guest. I didn't realize that we've never had him on for realsies.
No, I guess I wasn't really invited, you know. I mean, it's fun.
I mean,
cool.
hey, motherfucker! I brought you on my first episode of the Reviewers Cube before I crashed into the ground. Okay,
That's true.
So you were
That's
part
true.
of that sinking ship with me.
That's true.
You
What
and
show?
Daniel.
What
other
show was
Daniel.
that? What show was that, Ahmed? It doesn't matter what show it was.
There you go.
I had to get it. That one's for
Nice.
Sean.
That would be the reviewers queue, which I'm pretty sure is still listed on the homepage.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. Like, I have people ask me about that too. Like, people really liked it, and I've had random people like, "Hey, you guys still going to do the reviewers queue?" And it's like, probably
I don't want that novelty to get any worse before it's dead again.
Yeah, and yeah.
It was good times.
We had it. It was great. It was in the heyday. I think it was done at the perfect time.
Yes.
And
I think
the thing is, it was a novel idea to begin with. It wasn't going to last forever.
No, I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I think the other people besides Matt, the other people that were involved, I think they may have underestimated the amount of effort that it actually takes to run a show.
Yeah.
That's just my thought.
The time and the commitment.
it gets, it's weird. Like, I mean, you don't think that like an hour, 2 hours a week is that much, but it's like every week it rolls around. You're like, fuck, I've got to do this again.
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, but see, I'm the opposite. Like, I would not be able to shoot vlogs or do, like, I even had a hard time with our 30-second reviews that we did. I mean, obviously 30 seconds. So you have
those honestly are super hard for a different reason.
I did it. I had redid it like 50 times. And what I had in my head that I was going to say was not at all what ended up being,
That's
like,
usually how it goes when you're filming anything.
It's so much easier for me to ad lib to it than to stick to something. And so props to people who take the time and do the vlogs and do the reviews and stuff like that, because putting all that together, I mean, I would much rather do the 1-2 hours a week.
Even when I did Better Brown, it took me forever to film it because I kept fucking up because I drank way too much coffee that afternoon. But I had something loosely written that I didn't even reference. I just had a general idea of what I wanted to do and just let it,
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Motorhead says Reviewers Q did more to unite the entire vape community than a lot of other shit ever did. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I agree. So, I mean, we got to remember this was back in the day when a lot of people thought really high and mighty of themselves, and
including us.
It was good. It was good to knock ourselves down a peg.
Of course, there was one person that never joined us, but
Yeah.
I can think of like 5 people.
there's only one that's worth making fun of. But
Their loss.
his
I'd say
knuckles.
three of the 5 were.
You're talking about Pete, right? Pete Bizarro.
That was too many dry knuckles, is what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
Yikers. Ahmed in side chat. Very great.
It's true. So how's things in Oklahoma?
It's good. had a little thunderstorm today or last night, middle of the night.
We got the same piece, I think. Same thing.
Yeah, I was going to say we're probably I think our weather is usually pretty similar. It's starting to get a little.
The ones
warm.
that do this number a little bit more often.
Yeah, we do get a few more of the tornadoes. We get some more earthquakes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, when was the last quake? Because it was like last week or something.
It's
always happening every year.
That's one of those crazy things. Like, and of course, we won't have to dive into the whole conspiracy theory, but everybody blames it on man-made stuff, and but like we've had earthquakes for hundreds of years. I mean,
yeah.
Wait a minute. You're gonna tell me they weren't fracking back then?
Hang on. I think the best one is a buddy of mine's, a friend. He goes, "It's the windmills." And he says that the power generating windmills basically are anchored down into the ground, and they're putting pressure on the tectonic plates, and they're moving them. And the first thing I asked, I said, "So what about buildings?
Right.
What about
those buildings?
I'm gonna uproot that building. I want to know where to go.
How much do you think, And he's like, those things go down hundreds of feet into the ground, and they're into the bedrock. And I'm like, dude, those footers aren't that deep,
First of all, second of all, do you know how thick the freaking tectonic plate is?
Wait. Today I learned buildings are like trees.
So I said, let's do like Ferris Bueller, put our shit in reverse and see if we can get the Earth to go backwards.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we need Christopher Reeves for that.
Yeah,
we should backwards. He unkill Lois.
So yeah. But no, that and that's I got friends that live in Kansas, and they sometimes feel the little aftershocks, but there is just a shit ton of activity in that area. So
yeah,
you feel them every now and then, but
a few years ago we felt like a taint hair of an aftershock from Virginia, and I'm in New York, and we don't really get much of that. But I was laying down on my bed, and I felt like I had the spins as if I was drunk. It was the worst feeling.
It's a weird feeling. It is. I mean, I couldn't live in like California where they have that shit all the time, because it's
My mom thought I was goofing her, like shaking the couch from behind. I'm like, one floor above you, bud.
I'd never been in one until, gosh, what was that? That was like in 2004, like 2004. I was working in LA, and we're sitting up, I think, on like the third or fourth floor in a building, not very high, and we're all sitting like in a rows, me and my bunch of buddies, coworkers, and all of a sudden, like our chairs are just kind of doing this number. I'm like, and I didn't notice it at first, and then I looked around like, the fuck is that? And there's some local was like, oh, it's like an earthquake. I was like, holy shit! It was only like a 5 or something, right? I mean, they didn't even care, but it was interesting to me. I've never been anything like that.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling. Like that was the first thing I thought. Like whenever we had it was like 2009 or so when we had a really big one, and everything started shaking, and I thought it was my sub. Like I was looking at my television, it's like I'm not watching any. Like it felt like my subwoofer shaking my couch.
The wubs were not fat enough.
Yeah, but then it kept going, and I was like, holy shit, that's a tornado. I mean, an earthquake, not a tornado.
That's some dank trap you're looking to.
No. If you were in a tornado, you'd be like in your chair, like in the funnel cloud. You'd be like, wow, this is a fucking tornado, man.
I'll still say that night that I was at Anksy's house, and those fucking tornado fucking sirens went off at like 3 a.m. I was not sleeping after that, because man, that storm was pretty rough up there, and I am in Florida, so I hear the shit, but then all of a sudden you hear wah! And you're like, oh shit. And then the worst was in the morning we wake up and there was a gigantic tornado like one town over. So well, what made it the worst is that I could hear, and I forgot, it's like your brain just turns that off, that there's an Air Force base really close by. So guess what? After the storm passes and the fucking things are blaring, you hear I'm like, what the fuck is this thing coming right now? Or what? You're like, okay, people say it sounds like a train.
It's an alarm clock. You should be up cooking breakfast.
Jet. It sounds like a jet. I'm like, but I don't understand. And then all of a sudden it just fades away, and I'm like,
Air Force go whoop whoop.
It either just passed or and then sure enough, man, and that one did some damage. If I remember correctly, it tore up some shit.
A little bit. So, not as bad as the one like 3 weeks ago we had that actually
that's true.
In our neighborhood, there were like all the trampolines, then everybody's backyards were all jacked up, and somewhere else, somebody down the way one of my wife's friends. They have like a 2-story house or something, and their neighbor's trampoline was on top of their house.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's funny. Paladin Vapes said something for sure. You know, there's no such things as tornadoes until they invented trailer parks. Dude, down here, when there usually isn't tornadoes, that's where they go, to the trailer parks, and they tear shit up.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you know, all the structures down here are not built to, you know, withstand that, especially in trailer parks.
Yeah, no, Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas too. That's they're like magnets. I don't know why that's the case.
Yeah, it's really weird. I mean, there's a vape shop in Oklahoma City, like 2 hours away, or it's actually in Moore, Oklahoma, close to Oklahoma City, but it's been hit twice. Like that town got. I mean, that town is notorious for getting hit, and yeah, I mean, it
really bent over the table, huh?
Yeah, because there are people that are like, "Why do you live there? Like, why don't you?"
I
just
like to
move?"
live dangerously.
Yeah, exactly. I like to live
feel like at the Dust Bowl every year.
I also like to live dangerously. Yeah, it's fun. We've had sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. We've had tiger nados. There was an animal reserve.
What?
Is that an
There was an
Indian
animal.
tornado?
There was an animal reserve, and a tornado hit it and tore apart tiger cages and displaced some tigers across the countryside, and they were roaming around.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we had a tiger nado.
Tiger NATO.
I bet you some people were looking for those for not good purposes, like to sell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's lovely. It's good stuff.
yeah, man.
How old are we, by the way? Like sitting in a hangout talking about weather.
Talk about the weather.
No, it's like this is like fucking starting a conversation with an old person, pretty much.
It's true.
Wait, years ago, by the almanac.
So, Angsty, what you waving on, Angsty?
I'm vaping on my Dia, Bell Cap Narda, open on top, rail cracker inside, almost out. Zach.
Omen on top.
Mm-hmm. And I have busted out my Limelight, Freehand S, running a little unreg, and I did that so that I just realized that all of my lights aren't on. Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, you've been kind of dark.
Yeah, turn
Going
some of these
reg
back
with
on.
no reg.
All right, so I do have the black Ultim, as in not the urine colored kind. Black Ultim top cap on this Narda, and we've got this one. We've broken that back out to try it since it's been steeping for a couple of weeks. And I got a special bottle in there. We're going to be talking about that in just a minute. And that's it. And then I do have one more. I've got this guy, which my Narba is sitting on top, and some Get Pissed in there. But this little guy you might recognize from such other cases, such as that. Our old DNA.
Ooh. What else?
Beta units. This one a little bit different, a little bit more skinnier. This one has got a cool sticker on the side, which we'll talk about that. Look at that. Look at it, like effect.
Oh
Ooh.
wow, that mod's officially a bell end. Is that what they call them?
But the other thing that's kind of neat about is that.
Yo, does that shit run Crisis?
It does run Crisis. So this has been sitting just off cam here for like 2 months, and I couldn't show it to anybody. But we will talk about that in a little while too. I don't know if I said or not, but Get Pissed in here. Hey, Matt, what you got vaping on?
Well, I also have Omen on top. The limo, and there ain't piss in there. I actually slapped some wah in here after the show last week.
Just straight water, one abolishment.
If you're gonna say it, you gotta fucking own it, man.
Abolishment.
Abolishment.
I trailed off.
There's no embellishment. I was missing. I hadn't had one in months, so I had some.
I was having too much fun, darkness.
Thank you for reminding me, and unfortunately, yeah,
Yes.
forgot to. But anyway, so I haven't had one in a bit, and I was missing it. But the Y I had is like super steep, so it's not as good as I think it could be in here because fresh was best wa. This is like 5 month wa.
Mm. What else?
All right, I'm gonna fix my light. Good. Keep
I
talking.
got embellishment, the other half of one embellishment, and Narda with the Mun cap, with the fuck is it? SOV, Science of Vaping, Delrin on there. Rip in peace.
Rip it.
I switched up Titans. I got the blue Titan with this double helix design tip. Let's zoom in and get a little bit of the lip grit in there too, shall we? Yep. Focus. You want to focus?
Ooh.
Are you still trying to get the
Yeah.
color
okay,
and the lighting right for that thing?
No, I mean, daylight it looks best under.
Yeah. Yeah, that picture you took and posted it looked really cool. I hadn't seen it like that.
Yeah.
You know, who's messaging me? Oh,
Ahmed, your sweater game is like wigging me out because I keep seeing like little red dots, and then also
it's got a very. It has like little tiny bits of blue.
It blacks out, and then it's like, pew, pew, pew. What's going on?
Ooh.
Rubik Crew.
Exposing it.
So in this, I got this awesome double helix design top on here, and I got this one from Coil Vapes in there with the super duper crazy aliens I slapped in last week from Tyler. I owned them out yesterday. Finally, I slapped in my DNA 200, and this motherfucker is 0.09. I'm like, I was wondering why my battery life's been shit this all day. Because normally on my parallel build, I change my batteries once. In this build, I'm changing my batteries twice a day. It's that much of a difference, let me tell you. Yeah. Angsty. No, Masty.
Yo, your Masty went all funky out of order.
Yeah.
Throw me off, man. What are you vaping on?
Oh, so funny. So I have Southbound on the Pindad on the Hexane, and I fixed a while back. I had mentioned I haven't been vaping at night, but I'm toughing through it just to see if anything changes. I'm getting really bad dry mouth, like I said before. But I took the Pindad all the way apart when I tried this juice, the Limeo, okay, from coilvapes.com. And I put it in there. It was really, really strong when we got these. So I had an issue with my Pindad leaking down the center around the screws.
Ooh.
So there's an O-ring down there at the bottom because obviously it's got the tank on the bottom. So I was able to fix that. So that's good. And then I made the mistake of trying the Limeo again in my Squonker, but not in the bottle. I have Masty in here just on the top, and the mix between that and Masty tasted like
unpleasant.
Wait, no, it tasted like, I don't know why I would know what this tastes like, but it tasted like soap, like dish soap.
Oh,
and it was, yeah, so I had to recoil that, and there's not much deck area on the Mulciber, so
no,
that was fun. Luckily the build that I have in there is pretty good. So, but that's what I'm vaping on, back on Mass T on that one.
let's see what you got tonight.
We're gonna bring this down a little bit to a more consumer level.
Would you say to a more Zen-like level?
Wait, more consumer level in terms of nicotine? Because if not, that's there. Oh,
that's true. More in terms of price.
There you go.
I figure both of my mods together won't be anywhere close to what you guys are vaping. But I finally, because I was using the old trusty Anakin Disruptor for like 2 years, and I finally broke down and bought 2 new mods.
2 new, not just one.
Not just one, but 2, because you got to have a backup for your backup. But I just got a cheap iStick Power, E-Leaf iStick Power.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's like a brassy, coppery color.
Yeah. It's not bad. It don't make your hand smell either.
Yeah, it's been really nice and smooth. It's not tarnishing or anything. Does the 80 watts, I think. Has a 5,000 mAh battery in it.
Ooh, that much more Moz to explode when it's charging. I'm sorry.
So many Moz. Just all the Moz. And I actually, again, I'm way old school on this, but I picked up a Cleto, the original Cleto tank.
Yep.
Because I'd never tried one, and apparently they have Clapton coils, so it works good. Yeah, the Cleto coils are like Claptons.
You lung hitting?
It's amazing. It's amazing to see the update on all those coils for the tanks. Right back in the day, it was just shit coils. Now it's like fused Claptons, freaking.
With exception for Anakin, because their coils have always been. Sorry, Anakin, but your mods are.
I think it's the iOS boys that use the Cleto as like the standard for flavor. They think that's like a good baseline.
I think I don't disagree with it actually, because Aspire coils have always been a little better in my opinion than Kanger for flavor. Whether it was a Nautilus, whether it was the Cleto 120, the BVCs, whatever. They always just, I guess they're using, I don't know, maybe they're using something close to Chato in there, but they've always their coils have always been a little bit better.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. It's and it, it's one of those like because I have a few regular mods, but like it's something to carry around all day, and a beater mod, as you would say.
Sure.
And but the other one I got just because it was cheap, and this was like $30. Like they're super cheap. I mean, for a 5,000 mAh battery and 80 watts for $30, like
yeah.
I mean, just the device, like I mean, that's
and they're pretty light too. Like they pocket relatively nice.
Yeah. But I was curious about this guy, this next one. It was the Anakin Coolfire Pebble.
Yes. I thought those things were really cool.
Yeah, it's like I think it's 60, 75 watts, 60 watts, 50. I forget, but
way more than I need.
Yeah, I mean, like it's my old Super Tank Mini on it, and but like it's weird because I've seen videos and you don't really get an idea. Like here is a quarter.
Oh wow! Yeah,
like it's tiny. I mean, it is itty bitty, and because you can't really tell, like in your hand, like you don't really get an idea of how tiny this thing is until you're actually looking at it. But and the battery life, I mean, it's not great. It's like a 1300 mAh battery, I think. So I mean, it's running it at
like running errands and shit.
Yeah, like it'll last you, like because my thing is I have a 10-minute drive to work. And so I'm like, I don't really like, I mean, not that this is just overbearing, but it's like, I just need something tiny to put in my pocket to
You can
vape.
throw the other one in your bag for your vape breaks and shit.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, so they're both pretty small. And, but yeah, so that's what I got.
It reminds me of that, it's like when, what was it, Council of Vape put out the little, what was the little guy they put out?
The Mini Volt?
Yeah, the Mini Volt. That it looked like it was roughly that size. It was a tiny little thing.
I have a Mini Volt.
Mine's over there somewhere.
Here's an 18650.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that looks about right.
But here's the thing, though.
Hey, put it back
I
up.
didn't really like how this vaped or operated because you have to click it 3 times to wake it up every fucking time.
It did wake up, or it did go to sleep in like 30 seconds.
What I was saying earlier about hating on Anakin's tanks, I have all the faith in the world that thing's solid because every single fucking regulated device they make, with exception for the Coolfire 2. Actually, that was probably built well too.
It probably was. I never bought one because it looked like a grenade.
It had like a little turny pot, like a mechanical pot. It was cute. But yeah, they've always made solid mods, and I'm glad they finally came out with something little.
Yeah, I mean, like my disruptor. I mean, it. The only reason I replaced it, the batteries are dead. Like the batteries last.
I have
like
one of those too.
40 minutes.
Not present, but yeah, the version 2 they put out that we got.
Yeah,
that thing's awesome.
I mean, it's lasted great. Like it works fine, and I've had no problems with it at all. So I'm with you. Like Anakin makes pretty solid devices, and again, like this thing, it was like $30.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so crazy being in a day and age that you can pick up a solid fucking device for $80 or for $30. You know,
for those that aren't familiar, Flitz has literally been around since like the beginning of vaping.
It's true,
and he's pretty much vaped the same way until just now.
Until I started going clouds, bro.
For pretty much when me and Flitz are at a show and enough time passes, enough alcohol has been had, I take his mod and rip his 36 milligram because.
Are you still at 36?
Well, I actually stepped down. Like I had a friend send me a care package, and I've got a lot of 6 and 12. So I've been doing a lot of 12 lately.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
not so much. Just I mean, it's just sometimes it tastes better.
Yeah.
I mean, because nicotine can kind of be overpowering. So
Yes.
it's one of those
Pepper.
like, yeah, like sometimes it's just like you just taste nicotine, and sometimes I just want to, because everybody's like, oh, these flavors are amazing, and I'm like, I don't really care. I just want throat hit. But
Yeah.
but lately I'm kind of like, well, all right, we'll try something a little lower. We'll see how that goes.
Are you doing 50-50 or are you pumping it up to higher PG?
I think these are all probably max. I really haven't paid that much attention to much of it.
Are they max PG? Yeah. I was going to
I'm
ask
guessing
you,
they are.
have you found it more difficult to find at 36 or anything higher than 12 lately?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to find anything usually over 6. 12 is
Yeah.
pushing it, but because like I was for a long time, like I was doing 24, and
Yeah.
I have a handful of friends still make 24, but a lot of places just don't, like they don't go over 6. And but I mean, a lot of them will tell me, hey, we will make you 24 if you want.
Right.
Hey,
Right.
even
But,
Poe's available in 12.
Yeah.
I saw that because I had some of the 6, and I was like, use a little bit
I
more.
remember you tried Foos Gold our launch weekend, and you liked it, and you're like, don't have 12. That was before we did 12, but now we have 12. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I actually have which one? Oh, I have way up here sitting on my desk.
Mm.
Oh well, there's that much left.
Sounds like it's time for another care package.
Yeah.
Oh no, my Limo battery's dead. Oh.
Oh, that is the problem with all-in-one batteries. Onboard, lipos. Got to plug them in.
It's got to be a better vapor, foo.
Well, no,
Seriously.
yeah. I don't see my battery. Where the fuck is my extra battery?
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of high neck, I mean, where was that? I think that was in Dallas when we were talking to Alex. We had sent him some Poe e-liquid, and he had revealed that he is much like Felicity was 36 plus milligram,
Yeah.
like he was whatever. So he had just dumps Nick in the bottles and was just chiefing it,
I don't want to know what what does abolishment taste like in 24? I can't fathom that.
Abolishment's probably not bad. I mean, it's minty enough to probably mask some of that.
Perhaps. I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. Yeah, it's one of those, like it's different. Like there are certain levels, like 24 is just too much, but it's because I can't vape a lot at a time. But I'm kind of want to, like, I don't vape at work. Like I don't have I'm not in a position where I can vape a lot, like all day. Because some people vape all day, and if I vaped all day, I probably wouldn't vape 24. But it's one of those, like I vape a little bit and I cut it down. I vape a little bit. Yeah. So it's I don't know. Like I said, it's for me, it's really never been the flavor. It's really more sensation. It's more throat hit that if I don't feel it, then it's not doing anything. Yeah.
I got
just
you
like
covered on the
breathing.
throat head, buddy.
I was going to ask if that affected your when you went down to 6 and 12, did that affect the volume of e-liquid that you were vaping during the day when you could?
Yeah, I will say yes. I notice that I vape more if I'm vaping something lower, because it's that unicorn search. Like you're like, I keep vaping, I keep doing this, and I keep vaping, and I'm like, no. It's like you're just searching for that feeling, and it's just not happening. And so there's kind of a trade-off there. So I definitely vape more if I'm vaping a lower nicotine, but it's really, and some people might say that I'm lying, but it's really not the nicotine. Like it's not like I'm fiending for nicotine. It's just that sensation.
Yeah,
I
and
tried tickling the mod's balls while you were at it.
it's like,
No, I kind of did the same thing because I started finding myself getting like Nick sick when I was on. The last time that happened was when I was on 6, because I work from home. I work right here all day long and just sit here and vape when I need to. And I was getting Nick sick on 6, and then I went down. I was like, okay, well, I went down to 3. This was like 2 years ago. I went down to 3, and now I find myself vaping it at least as much, if not a little bit more. But I don't
Yeah.
get Nick Stick anymore, so I must have found a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah, it's. I think my I think my happy medium would probably be like 24 is great, but like I've kind of found I can step down. 18 is good, but I would probably say it would be about 14. Like would be a good medium. Like it's good throat hit and enough nicotine where I'm not feeling like I need to vape more.
Right.
Cool.
I found the Nick salts in the Jewel to hit like a mule. I mean, it was like that's like 48 or something, right?
Yeah.
But this thing, the Fit, I was just looking just a minute ago to see. This is 1.8%. This is 18 milligram. It's solid. This is one of the things where I can take a couple drags and actually feel it and be okay, and not feel bad. Yeah, I dig it. I actually have a business trip leaving in the morning. And this little monkey's coming with me this time because I will be in an office and I won't be able to vape with a bunch of other, like in a conference room. So it's not like I'm gonna be able to vape. So,
Unless someone else pulls one out and starts ripping, you're like,
Yeah, somebody comes up and just rips fucking 100-watt freaking gigantic plume.
if someone did that in an office, I'd be like, good at the first. But before I'd be like, oh, you vape, okay.
Clouds, bro, clouds.
Ooh, we were talking about, speaking of gear, Ahmed, I think you mentioned something about this last week. We can share and show for the people that are watching at home. Lost Vape's drone. They've got a 2-battery Squonker.
They do.
Look at that.
Oof, that bottle cap though.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, dude, as much as I dog on the 160 for being a belt tightener, its Squonk system is pretty fucking great.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah,
Wait,
because
how
it's
big-
like a metal straw that goes all the way to the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
How big of a bottle? How big of an opening is there? Because that looked like it was only like half. You see that? Like it's got a backing on it.
It does, but it has to. You have to be able to get it out because that plate there doesn't move behind the batteries.
No, yeah, I'm talking about the other plate. Like it's only giving you a sliver of the bottle to squeeze. Like I'm thinking, something like this big is plenty, right? Because you get, almost all the way around. But
yeah, it's
that's
a
not-
window. I mean, it doesn't look too bad.
Let's see that exposed bottle, baby.
Yeah, doesn't look too bad there. Yeah? It's definitely kind of out of the way. If you're a thumb firer, that might work for a lefty.
Honestly, like 155 is a very fair price for a DNA Squonker dual battery. That's about as cheap as it can get on the market.
And angry watts too. I mean, you get 166 watts. So those people you were talking about last week, Fu, that want to squonk the
because there are a lot of
velocity, right?
Velocity, even the new 2-post Kennedy. There are a lot of high watt addies out there that are squonkable.
Yeah.
So I feel like it just opens up the market even more.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, when I added this to my notes, it was in stock. It appears to be out of stock now, but
I'm not surprised.
But originvape.com should have them back in. There's a waiting list there. They typically have their stuff on pretty good.
Shout out there in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ahmed, do you remember the video of the guy in the wine store up there in New York?
Yes.
In Midtown Manhattan?
Yes.
So we showed the video. I'm trying to find it.
He is suing. Yeah, I read that shit.
Yes. I don't know if you had it in your news or not, but yeah, he's suing. I'm wondering if you know who the company is, because he says
I don't know either.
So the article says, and I'll take the article right now and put it in chat for people to read. But basically, it says that he is first of all, he says he had second-degree burns on his hands and third-degree burns on his leg. He was 12 days in the hospitals with 51 staples, and even coming out of the hospital was a slow process to move around. But basically, it says that he is, I guess he's with Rubenstein Law. I didn't even know they were up there. I hear all the commercials down here.
It's New York, I mean.
But yeah.
Rubenstein's here, Rubenstein's there.
Yeah, but basically, it states that he is suing China and South Korea manufacturers of the cigarettes.
Good luck with that, jerk off.
Okay.
What?
So here's the thing. So I read the article last week. I think it was sometime since last show. I read an article, like a follow-up article, you suing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, please tell me that the comment section isn't full of cancer. It wasn't. There were only 3 comments. They're all Facebook comments. They're all vapors. And they're like, look, if you count, there were only 2 shorted batteries or something, or 3 shorted batteries. But the ones that were in the most, there were a few people who broke it down really well in the Facebook comments. Like that's the that's the kind of shit we need for articles like that.
Apparently, the news company, whoever it was, I think this is ABC7, was basically deleting comments from the video. So because I think that even in that link that I put up there, it had a few comments, people saying quit deleting the comments. So, and for those of you who have not seen the video, here is the video that I'm talking about. It's going to come up right now on my screen. Basically, he's standing at the cash register.
Oh, let me click on you. There you go. Sorry, back it up, Matt. I just clicked on you.
Okay, let's back it up.
My bad.
And he's talking. That shit's on fire.
Oh, wow.
Damn, man, he was on there for quite some time.
So dumbass had batteries and spare change in his pocket. That's
Yep.
like we all know this at this point. You all know, we don't have to tell you. But I was very happy about the informed comments and not angry, antagonistic bullshit in the comment section from vapors. This guy was just, I don't remember his name. I wouldn't probably say it anyway, but it was just very comprehensive. It was dope for people who don't know much about vaping, which, most people don't. So that made me happy.
Wow.
Very happy.
Man, get the water. He's got a fire in his pants.
Why didn't he put his hat out for change? Like shit. He's a performing artist at that point.
But anyways, yeah, I thought that was interesting. Since we had talked about it before, and the article just came out a few days ago about them, going to sue who? China and South Korea. Right?
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, that has about as much merit as me suing a South Korean player because he beat me at StarCraft. Like,
yeah. Okay, so I think it was a Rouleau.
It was probably an RX.
Yeah, with the back off of it. So.
Yeah, wasn't there a picture of like 5 batteries like laying on the ground with it or something?
There were 5 or 6 batteries. 3 of them were wrapped or yeah.
Yeah, this is the image right here.
The mod itself didn't short. It was,
and as we can see, there is
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells.
Yeah,
Yep.
Looks like. It looks like we got.
And look, there's
like a quarter and a penny.
One here. We got one here. We got one here. One here.
Draw boxes around the change.
One in the box, yeah. And there's a nickel and a penny.
Yeah, there, and there, and there, and there's some other shit over here.
Not pictured.
There. And then 2 low of ohms in there. So there you go. And then the waddle all over the place.
Are you fucking Madden? You like drawn out
that.
Yeah, Mass Madden.
Either that or he peed himself. Anyways, there we go.
Those are probably electrolytes.
Yeah. So hey, at least it made it into the tile because it looked like they were standing on the carpet in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I eat your heart out. Yeah, you don't know about that, man. But
I mean,
anyways.
that sucks for that guy. I mean, that sucks that he.
Yeah,
got hurt,
it does.
But,
Yeah,
But he was a dummy, and
Yeah.
now he's trying to make someone else pay for it.
There's dumb people everywhere, and
Dude,
that stuff doesn't happen to you.
I think honestly, lately it's going to be changed from ambulance chaser to vapors for the lawyers. You know,
Yeah.
they're just gonna be waiting for the next story just to come up and be like, oh, you want to sue? Okay,
Actually,
let's go.
no. Here's the thing: there would be more if you could get actual like money out of a vaping manufacturer company. I mean, like at least if companies are based stateside, like ambulance chasers and such, it's like, yeah, you're gonna get paid.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, suing China, I don't think it's going to get very far.
Oh, like, sue these nuts.
It's crazy.
We'll see how that goes.
You got some jalapeno chips tonight.
Nice.
So sorry, Ahmed. I didn't mean to cut in front of your.
Oh, that's cool.
I didn't mean to cut in front of your news.
No, that's fine. Because it's a good transition because we're talking about one guy who's done with his batteries. I'm gonna go and talk about a guy that some may think is done with his batteries, but no, he's just the most motherfucking hardcore vapor ever. For those who don't know, Plumes viewers of previous, we are big fans of a pseudo reviewer guy. He's a professional vape break taker. His name is Josh Wilson. He's a bad motherfucker. As you remember, he has a very memorable face.
Yes, he does.
But anyway, he's back. Jerry messaged me on Facebook. I saw your message. And thank you for telling me that Josh is back in the fold. Because he is. And it's great because it's good old Josh Wilson. And what you're about to see is, if you remember, he was a pretty hefty dude.
Very.
And now he's not. It was actually like, yeah, he's lost like half a person. So good on him for that.
That's quite a bit.
And it takes nothing away from his vape face. Nothing.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Where did it go? Where'd the video go? 1 second.
I'm clicked on you.
Oh.
I'm Duncan too, by the way.
You're what? Duncan?
No, I'm Duncan.
Ooh. What else?
Where are your sleeves?
Oh, that was fucking good.
Okay.
Are those digestives? Are those digestives by chance? Because those are the shit.
Here we go.
They are.
What's up, guys? It's
Let me
Josh
go ahead
here.
and restart it here.
There you go.
All right. You ready?
So
All right.
skinny.
I don't know if I can make it any lighter. It's pretty dark in there, so.
Yeah, it's a
Hey,
little dark.
what's up, guys?
Lighting's not as strong
Josh
as you.
here. Haven't been on for a long time, but wanted to show you this. It's the Aromamizer Supreme, the 25 millimeter version. And I've got a single coil set up in here. I've been working on doing some modifications to the Aromamizer Supreme. I've actually modified the base where the coil fits in on my mill, so you can turn the coil the proper direction to get the airflow, and it kind of wicks like the new 30 millimeter Aromamizer Plus.
Rip. Come on.
It's got a triple and one of my 4S PWM custom boxes, and I'm only at about 20.
We want to keep it in fair use. Oh, yeah. Just fogged out.
And for those wondering, he's vaping on like
outstanding, and it's making some pretty good vapor too.
a triple nichrome twisted something or other.
On his giant PWM quad series, whatever. That dude does not screw around. He does not screw
play
around.
around with his vape brakes.
I just got home and just got this. Find them. They're basically as big as you can possibly go. Pretty much the whole area where you tuck the wick is just wide open.
That's what she said.
Let me make sure my cotton's wet enough because I'm about to try what he's doing. With some disgusting ass cotton. I was supposed to change it today. Wait. Wait, do you have any old Josh Wilson videos? Like ones where you can clearly see his face mask?
I sure hope you're going to link his channel because
You're muted.
that would be good.
I'm absolutely going to link his channel. He's a fucking man. Dude, he's straight up the most hardcore vapor I've seen. Yeah, he's hardcore, more hardcore than all You West Coast guys, yeah, I'm calling you out, boy. Josh Wilson's more hardcore than you. You know what? Boy would probably agree.
He might.
That's true.
He probably.
If he was playing it straight, he probably would. This is a bad bitch right there.
So
I commented on his video and I said, "Welcome back, man. Missed the crackalackle factor."
he didn't mention anything about crackalackle.
Crackalackle.
He didn't.
There's plenty in an aromomizer. I know that much.
He didn't. I'm looking to see if I can find another one. So
Beautiful. Love it. Welcome back, Mr. Wilson.
I feel like he can take he's taking fatter pulls than he was before.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think he's got more capacity in the lungs.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good one. You popped up right there. It is. Yeah.
Fuck, dude. Okay. Hitting it as hard as I've pursued that he hits it, and we've met him. I've met him. Me and Sean only Plumes that have met him, I believe. Based on how hard he hits that shit, he has to have like 30 or 50 mils of juice sitting at least at the bottom of his lungs.
Must.
Like I wipe my mouth. Like this shit is hardcore, man.
Seriously.
It ain't easy being Josh Wilson, man.
Okay. I got
You got another one?
Yeah, I have it, but it's not it's not of him vaping, but it's the one he made. So
Hey, Mass, what's up? It's Josh Wilson.
oh, he doesn't rip.
How you doing?
And then we never saw the sun for years.
Like nuclear winter, man.
Holy crap!
Dude, look, I'm living in vapor right now. Fuck.
It's weird. So welcome back, Josh. Missed you.
He was wasn't he at like Vape Bash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's where that.
I remember
deal
that
was
story.
from.
I didn't meet him, but I remember that story.
I absolutely left a semi-important conversation at the Enjoy booth with one of my coworkers. I saw him, and everything in my head went off, and I just walked to the Lab Rats booth, and I got him. Like I just looked, dude, Josh Wilson. He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. Josh comes in, he's like, he's not here. I'm like, he absolutely is. And we kind of fanboyed the fuck. He's like, you guys are making me feel like a celebrity. We're like, fuck yeah, we are. It was awesome.
So Angsty, I know you mentioned Nick Salts earlier. Did
Yeah.
you see the post on Reddit about fair warning on Nick Salty Liquid? Level Up is the only good brand I've tried. Mr. Salty and Tab were absolute garbage.
No.
My experience, yeah. So there's some.
Mr. Salty was the one that I found. That was the first one I ever heard about making Nick Salt juices you can actually buy.
Yeah,
And that's why I mentioned on the show about months and months ago, whenever, and I started asking people in their group, and then there's been a couple other ones come out. I didn't like the first one that I got. What was the next one that I got? It was pretty good though. Grapple Mint or something. It was like green apple somewhere or another, and it was actually pretty decent. I thought it was all right.
yeah. So apparently Bombies is selling it now too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, he's it's called After Dark Nick Salts, and people in that thread they talk about trying some of his stuff too. So I had no idea he was selling. And of course, just like opinions, I tried Bombies and it was awful. It was so bad. I went with Nana Cream, a classic I hadn't tried in years, and they changed the formula because it's garbage now. Okay,
I thought it was always garbage.
yeah. So, but most people seem to have, like the Mr. Salty. So I know you can try it.
Bombies likes to get rid of flavors that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. I haven't vaped a lot of it because obviously it's in the little cig likes and stuff, right? So I don't vape a whole lot of it. And then I kind of quit doing those things, like because my Juul died, and I never really got along with the MyJet. I mean, it was all right, but the draw was no good. And then Vaping Art sent the Boulder guy, and I don't think this one's. I like the button on this guy, but the draw is totally wrong. Like it's too loose for a mouth lung, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I do like the built-in USB. I thought that was pretty cool, even though the whole thing's a little bit bigger. But the pods are easy to get out and rewick and refill. They got a little.
Those look better than the MyJet pods. The MyJet pods got tedious and they started to come apart. As much as I love the one with the shadow in there, dude. It was a really nice vape if you had 50-50 in there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not bad, but that one I feel like you got to kind of cover both the windows because that's where it pulls the air from, to get it kind of restricted down where you want a mouth along. It's not bad, but there's that the freaking jet though, or the fit rather, is still the way forward. I like this guy a lot.
I've kind of forgotten how to mouth to lung. Yeah, like I mean,
way too long since in you, bud.
because like I mean, that's how I started was just regular 510s, and so it was always mouth to lung, and then because it took a long time for me to transition over to lung hits, and but now like I've tried like a Jewel and some of the other stuff, and like the little e-leaf. Sorry, my cats are being assholes. The little e-leaf. The little plastic doohickey, I forget what the eye care. I think it was.
Eye care. Yeah.
Like I've forgotten how to mouth the lung. Like it just doesn't. I don't like. I keep wanting to like. Like it just it's weird. Like it's kind of because I'm like I don't remember how to do this. I don't remember how to vape like I used to.
You do. I mean, when I went restricted lung, there was no kind of like I can go back and do a mouth to lung, but it's not as satisfying anymore.
Yeah.
Which is why you gotta have the crazy nick, and like that's why these things are useful because they're high nick for me. So I can take a couple drags, and even though it's not the vape that I like, it gets the job done and get out. Right? I mean, if you need to stealth it for a minute and then go back to work or whatever, that's the way to go.
Again, not to cut into Ahmed's news, but also I wanted to mention our buddy Jay Bigglesworth, who called in last week. He's got a 20% off code going on right now, and that code is refund, and extra goodies on each order right now. So
you want some of that tax money?
Yeah, that's 20% off at Bigglesworth Labs, and the code is refund. And you get free 30 ml Chubby Gorilla bottles with every 120 ordered. So there you go. You can have fun and start, doing a little.
Who we heard that does that? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I get some good debate. I have some good debates with Bigglesworth.
Yeah. He's an opinionated some bit.
Actually, I messaged. I think I messaged Chuff yesterday. I'm like, wow, Flitz posted something on Facebook. I don't see you or Bigglesworth anywhere near it. And I'm like, is everything cool? Yeah. It's like.
Yeah, no, it's always fun to get into a discussion with
Flitz's Facebook posts are my morning fucking bonfire. It's great.
Yeah, because I like I like to post stuff just enough to nudge people, and because you get an emotional response from somebody, then you get truth. Instead of pandering or you have to kind of twist that just a little bit for them to get a little bit reactive to it, and then you kind of get.
Oh yeah, dude, people are especially easily triggered now. You just have to.
Yeah. And it's so much fun. And I mean, and I'm giving away my secrets, but yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, it's not even that I have much of an opinion about any of it. It's just that I find so much of it is just interesting and fascinating the way people react to things and the different opinions people have on stuff. And
if it makes you feel any better, if you've ever seen any of your posts, it's not too much of a secret because you pretty much just pose a stimulating question.
Right.
You're like, I've heard that this is the case.
Yeah. And I feel like people that know me they pick up on that, but sometimes people are like, what? I'm like, nah.
Crime may go up when it's harder out.
And they're like, holy fuck, no.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
The only thing that's slightly more entertaining from a watching a train wreck sort of aspect. Sometimes when your posts kind of go a little sideways,
right?
Russ's posts are
hilarious. Oh god, yeah, because he's much more defiant. Because I'm usually I try to stay a little ambivalent about stuff, but he's
Russ's post. That's like Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. Like
it is, and from both sides of the aisle too. It's hilarious. It's just really funny to watch it go.
Yeah, anytime something happens in the news, I have to go check his page because I know he said something about it.
Sure.
And I mean, and he's very direct. Like it's one of those people love him or hate him, but he's usually very honest about things, whether or not people agree with that. But it's usually very poignant Although very, it can be very biased, but it's usually very poignant.
It's usually very biased. That's true.
Yes, usually very biased.
I don't think he even pretends. I think he would totally cop to that. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, absolutely. This is the way I think things.
We went on a show once, actually, very, very long time ago.
Can I go through my gift bag? I'm itching.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
What
the
else?
goodies.
I got a care package. So the fine gentleman, one of the fine gentlemen.
Did he just lock up?
Tell me you got a
Holy
screen.
Hang on.
What?
Oh, and she was like this. He was like,
No, I got it. I got it. Yeah,
got what?
I got the screen grab. You went Skrillex right when you said the fine gentleman at.
and you're like this. You're like on my screen. You're like,
I got it.
Really?
like shitty salesman. Like,
Great. That was probably my wife firing up Netflix or something.
Let's delve into the picture of
like fucking Netflix have warp drive. It like stole your shit for, like seconds.
fucking put the brakes on it. Here we go.
I'll take a nap
let's
while
see.
you get ready.
Oh, ooh, what else?
Hold on, let me
I
click
don't,
on
I
it.
don't,
There you go.
I don't know.
I love it because it's switching between AC and mass, but it's extra on both screens.
Wait, hang on, because I don't know if he's going to do the Hunter Herms Helsley or if he is petting his beard that's
Mhm.
not there or what.
You need one of these. You need this and then that. So you can be like,
Oh,
All right.
So our sister show, daughter show, I don't know how that works, but the Ideal M show. I needed something from Craig, and because Craig had a bell cap that he wasn't using. It's not just a bell cap; it's one of the first gen bell caps, which I prefer the style instead of the slammed. I actually like the old the first gen much better. So he had one, and I was like, yeah, it'd be awesome. Would you mind sending that over? And I was like, well, while you're at it, you've been talking because I've known Craig for what? How long have we known Craig?
a few years now.
a yearish,
Yeah.
4 years.
3-4
At
years
least.
for us. Yeah.
10 days.
Too long.
Up 9, I'd say.
One of the things that I wanted is because he talks, obviously he's British, so he talks about tea, and I was like, well, you should send me some proper tea, proper tea. So he did. He
Derby.
went to M&S, so he went to the fancy shop
That's why you've been.
and got some tea. He was surprised that I knew at least roughly how to brew it, but I was joking with him earlier on his group. I was like, well, you're talking to a Southern boy. Like, we pretty much got like booze and
Yes.
tea in our veins. I mean, that's just what we
throw
got.
mad milk and sugar
That's
in
how we
both.
do.
Actually,
What
no,
was
your tea, you throw mad sugar in it and milk. Well, your regular tea.
You do throw mad sugar in it. That is true. You can get some health issues if you're not careful drinking proper Southern sweet tea. So he did send over some fancy MS luxury gold.
80
Tea
tea bags.
Yeah,
Damn,
nice,
son.
nice thing. I think,
That's a lot.
and
of
this is what I was eating just a minute ago. Talking about my chip game. Some digestives, which I haven't had in a really long time.
You get those here. They're just kind of expensive. They're like $4 like here for that whole roll.
Are they? Well,
Yeah.
but it's a pretty sizable cookie or
Oh, yeah.
biscuit.
A biscuit.
But it's
Timestamp.
because I just ate one and it was pretty decent size, for a cookie. But one thing I've never done, which I think it was Craig that told me I was supposed to dunk, and I was just doing that a minute ago. It's really good.
So tomorrow morning, get the wife to make some biscuits and gravy, and take those and just throw them in the gravy. Send them the picture.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be really gross.
No, just dunk them in water.
But if you've never had a digestive, it is somewhat analogous to a graham cracker.
Kind of creamy, kind of sweet though.
Yeah, but it may be a slightly sweeter graham cracker.
Not nearly as
Why?
dry as a graham cracker. It's
Why they gotta name them digestive? It's like something you take before getting a colonoscopy. Like what?
they are good for your
Why?
They are good for the poop chute.
No, I haven't. I've never had a camera shoved up my butthole.
Are those? Are
But
they
we can
shortbread?
always start.
He said it was some proper
good
English
time,
which is
man,
good.
man.
So thank you for the mustard. The other thing that made me doubt whether or not he likes me or not is he sent some Marmite,
Oh,
which I have had before, and it's awful.
You should. I was gonna say you should do some on the air.
Marmite? Is it brother of thermite? Like, what the fuck is that?
It might as
No,
well be.
Marmite is a brother of
Dolomite.
no, no Marmite. Marmite. You could, I guess. Well, no, it's not like the Australian one. That's
Vegemite.
Vegemite.
It is not dissimilar to that.
No, yeah, there you go. That's what I meant.
It's basically, I think, if I remember right, I think it's all this shit sludge at the bottom of a beer barrel that they just scrape off. That's just like concentrated yeast. It's a little rough.
Vegemite, Marmite. See, close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. But the other thing,
They both taste like shit.
This is something that I asked if you wouldn't mind sending over because I thought we could do a tech time on it. Is he sent over Rick, who's also on iOS, has got he owns a shop called modmaker.co.uk, and he has his own 510s. So I asked him to toss a couple of those in there, and I'll send those over to Lasty. And he also just recently came out with his own Squanker bottles, which are really cool. So I mean, we've been using super soft bottles and squonking since before I really got full into squonking. These have been not these, but the super softs have been a big thing. But what was that?
It's my cat.
It's not yours.
Yeah, it's not mine.
Yours don't sound like that one anymore. He goes, wah.
Listening to keep it pussy in check, man.
He doesn't.
Oh,
I should probably just take it out. That would probably be easiest.
dude, you're gonna break the internet. Flitz and a cat on the same picture.
It's way too much.
Let's go a
Holy
little
ratings.
closely here on this thing. So here's his. Well, I can show you a super soft bottle first, so you can see what what we've been using for a long time is just a little bottle and then a metal cap and a tube. Fine. His bottles are very similar in material. They're a little bit softer.
That knurling though.
And the knurling on this cap
Yes.
is great because one of the things that's a problem with these guys is they're smooth. So once they get a little e-liquid on them, they're very slippery. That guy is going nowhere. Like you're going to be able to grip that thing for days. The other thing that this thing has, and Fu fixed his in the super softs, was he put a little O-ring up underneath there. This thing comes with a silicone gasket that goes between the cap and the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's right there in the package. And
back when I made my Squonker back in the day, I had to get my freaking parts from McMaster Car for the tubing. Shit.
Not anymore.
What's interesting is how that plastic tubing stains.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you see this one?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that brown.
Yeah.
Yum yum yum. Rail cracker. We went through a thing not too long ago. Let me get my camera back here. Went through a thing not too long ago where all squonking bottles were sold out everywhere. All the new cappies, the Sunbox were sold out. All the super softs were sold out in Rio mods. You used to be able to get them always at Rio, and they just were gone. So now we've got an alternative. Now, if you want to go to modmaker.co.uk, you can pull up Rick's store and go shopping. Go shopping and buy yourself some new bottles because they're dirt cheap. Gosh, I don't even remember how much they were. I need to go back and look. Modmaker.co.uk. I want to say they were just like a quid or two, something like that. Bottle. I'm searching right now for you people.
What do you mean, you people?
You heard what I said. So the full bottle kit is £3.49, and I'm pretty sure they've got multi-packs too. I'm clicking through now here for you.
Multi-pack.
Yeah, you can buy a 10-pack for like £29.
How many is that in American?
Pounds are like $1.6 each now. It used to be like two. It used to be like 2 to 1, but not so much these days. So not too bad, and so it'll be a little more expensive, yes, if you need them from here. But if you're in here and Rio is sold out of super softs, you're fucked unless you go to get one of Rick's bottles. So far, they're really nice bottles. They kind of feel a little bit softer than super soft. And here's the other thing: is they hold more e-liquid. You remember capacity gate?
What's the percent deviation on this? Is it 0.2 mil? Is it low?
if you remember the accidental scandal that I created, not really on purpose, sort of halfway on purpose, but
Bodily gooch, everybody.
yeah, bodily gooch reporting in. The one thing I can say about these guys is, unlike the super softs, which say they're 8.5 milliliters and they hold like 7, these guys hold 8, and it's a usable 8, like it's 8 with the cap on. And now Rick said that his measurements say 8.5. He can get 8.5 in there. My crappy little
metric over there. So
yeah, my milliliters I think are apparently slightly bigger because I can only get 8 in there, but. The shorter, to me, it doesn't matter. If it's 8 or 8.5, I don't give a shit. One thing that I hated was were the cappies, as much as I love the bottles. This thing says they're 8.5 and they hold like 6.7 or something. I mean, it's crazy off. It's crazy off. That's not cool. Mod Maker bottles are cool. Rick's cool. Go buy some of those things. Oh yeah, and I got a new pill cap, so I'm really happy about that guy. And some proper chocolate, according to Craig. That was also in there. So I get
Cat is proper chocolate.
Now, the other thing that was in there is he sent some stickers around, which I can send to you guys. These guys are really cool too. They're like carbon fibery.
Ooh,
yeah, they're kind of. Ooh, let me click on myself. Look at there. Nah. So there's some regular ones in there too, but these are the carbon fibery ones. Oh yeah, there you go. You can see that. Right?
Oh, they're textured.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Pretty cool. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them very well on my fridge over there. Oh, which side is the fridge? Is it just directly behind me? Yeah, it is. So I need to figure out some way to get it on there so you can see it, but we'll figure something out. Anyway, I just want to say thanks to Craig for sending that over, and for Rick tossing in some toys too. I do appreciate it. I'll get these. I'll get the 510s over to you, Masty, and send y'all a couple bottles too. Now, Masty, do you have anything that size bottle will fit in?
What size is it?
Like the super soft size.
Which is how many mils? Let's start the training again.
I was gonna say, do we have to get in this again?
Because mine is
how many
9
mils does it list? How many
Mine
mils
is
is it actually?
9 mil or die.
Yeah, it's not the 9 mil. It's the super softs are ostensibly or supposedly 8.5 mil. So I think they're a little smaller than your mod.
I'll test one out though.
Okay, I'll send whatever, and I should have one to send to Fu and to Sean, although we know he doesn't vape anymore. Let's see what else we got. Anyway, that's what I want to cover. I just want to say thanks to those guys because that was very kind of them.
I might feel the
Covered that. Covered Rick's Mod Maker bottles. We do need to talk about the DNA75C at some point. I can go start setting that up, Masty, if you want to do something or talk for a minute.
Sure. Well, I covered most of my news already, but there was an article that was posted in the Palm Beach Post down here, and they basically had a reporter go and do a story on vaping, and basically wanted to try vaping. So I'm going to put the article in site chat.
So it's a non-smoker.
This one was they were a smoker, but they did a story on the vaping industry. It says in the article last month, and want to give it a try. And it's basically coming from someone who had never tried vaping before and just went right into it while doing the story. And at the time this article was written, which was on the 12th, it says, 2 weeks into vaping, I can tell you that I haven't picked up a traditional tobacco product. I haven't even wanted to smoke a cigarillo. My cigars and my humidor have gone untouched. Still the passion in the making hasn't been without its pitfalls. There's been quite a learning curve for a 50-year-old reporter. So that's just a snippet from the article. But it's really a really interesting article to read through, So it's not very often that you see a news article that gets traction that is positive, in positive light. So kind of interesting. So check it out. So let's see what else. We talked about the Nick salts. We talked about a few of these other things. And I think I had some battery stuff, but I think if we're going to try to have Mooch on next week, I'll bring those up then.
Okay. There's a relevant piece of non-vaping news in that Charlie Murphy died. I don't know if you know, but he's a very central comedic figure to us.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm sure as well to many of you as well. So that hearing about that over the weekend, I think it happened over the weekend, right? That should bum me out pretty hard, man. I posted about it in the Facebook group. I was, yeah.
Another thing I wanted to cover and show is an image that user Guacamole Monster on Reddit posted, and he said he visited a Beyond Vape in Japan. I thought that was really cool. And there's the shot of the store.
It's actually employed by robots.
Cool.
So it's pretty neat. You know, it's got stuff written in English on the outside, and
it says vape on it.
It says vape on it, and I think
what's vape?
I think upstairs there's must be like a restaurant, because I think I read onion soup on the top hand corner here. Let's see if we can enhance
chicken stock.
Bread and onion soup.
Bread and onion soup. That sounds dank.
And then I think we see our friend Rian here on the right. Yep. All right. Well, so there you go. Beyond Vape. And I believe it's Shibuya, Japan.
Shibuyakasha,
Japan. I think that's it.
All right. So I can show you this thing a little bit. If you guys have been over to Pete Pizzardo's channel, he had Brandon on to talk about this guy. Not the mod, but the board. So we'll see if this how well this focuses. Focus. There you go. Look at that.
Perfect.
So we've got a really nice large full color sort of display. You may notice we have an extra button. So we have had I put on autofocus. I don't ever use autofocus, and it looks like maybe
that's when you stuck your finger in the way that it wigged out.
Autofocus is the devil.
Yeah. So, Anksy, while you're trying to get it to focus, can you grab your reference mod and stand it up next, or sit it next to this one, just so we can get a size reference?
Yeah. So the regular standard mod looks like these.
So it's pretty close in height.
It's basically the same. Yeah. It's
okay.
Almost exactly the same.
Okay.
All right,
so it's like 2/3.
Look at straight on
the size.
Straight on, it's effectively the same.
2/3, 3/4 the size. Yeah.
So it's just a little bit thinner.
Yeah.
The other way. Okay.
Still single battery, compared to this. This guy was also single battery, but there's no sled in this one. It's sort of the battery is soldered in, and I can take it apart if you want, but there's really not much to see in there.
Yeah.
If you want me to take it apart, I could do that.
No.
All right. So there's a soldered in battery in here, and obviously that's this case. I imagine this is going to be available just like their other reference cases were, the plans to them. But the big thing for this guy is the display, and instead of doing auto, I'm just going to do the manual here. Turn off of autofocus.
There you go.
There we go. So you'll notice if you've been using a DNA mod, anytime in the last 100 years, you've seen we just had a fire button and then up and down. Now we've got a fourth button here in the middle. It's kind of like an enter button to be able to select things. Now that's really kind of all there is to it here, because the interesting about this board is that UI is totally customizable. You can change everything, and I mean everything about this UI. So this is the new default one that was released by Evolve. I've been using a different one. One of the guys from the forums, the early alpha forums, he had done a lot of work, and his looked really, really nice and better than the ones that I set up. So I've been using one of his, but I did load up the default one so you guys can see it. Right now, though, you can see my profile name is kind of long, so you can't really read what it's supposed to be. So I figured a quick exercise we could do together would be to fix that. What do you think about that?
Do it.
Sounds good. All right, so I'm going to actually turn my camera over to sharing my second screen. Start share. Here we go. Does that show up?
Yep, you got it.
All right, so I'm going to plug in the mod.
Disclaimer: even though Angsty only owns Apple products, this is running on a Mac.
Windows
but
10. Yes,
it's
virtual-
running on Windows 10 virtual machine.
That's
Thank
right.
you. There is no
Just assume his operating
subscribe for
system.
Mac. I just
you
did.
just assume it's operating.
Its pronouns are if, then, and suck.
So yes, I do have to run a virtual machine because I have to run Windows for work, sadly. But that means I can shut it down at the end of the day, and I don't have to look at Windows anymore. But the since we don't have a, I'm putting my camera back, by the way. Since we don't have a since we don't have OS 10 eScribe yet, this is what we got to do. So if you've used eScribe before, you may recognize this, but it is cleaned up quite a bit. So back in the day when we tested the 200, when they first released this guy, I mean, the first builds of eScribe were pretty horrible. I mean, they were ugly. But they cleaned this up quite a bit, and this has just been the last month or so. They've really cleaned this up. It looks a lot better now. You'll see a lot of the same things down here at the bottom than as we used to see. You know, still got the 8 profiles down the bottom. This is, by the way, what that's supposed to say: manually vaping, which means it's not temperature limiting. It is just wattage. And then we've got DUM 316 and DUM 316L. Those are the only profiles that I've been using. But this is this maybe you've seen the display, and you've seen even the materials in the newer versions of eScribe. But this theme though, this is a little new.
Yeah.
You're there. So you can say this is kind of a still a little bit in development, because that's clearly not right either. We'll fix that too. So they have this used to be all built in here to eScribe, but they recently got a new theme designer, which is a separate window. So if you click this guy, you can see we now have wallpapers. So you can change or upload your own wallpapers in the background. You can change your color scheme and fonts and all that sort of junk. But if you go over to screens, this is kind of the important part. So here on the right, you can see this is basically the flow of your UI, right? You can change every one of these and add more. And you can change how you cycle through it with your up and down buttons by setting little areas here so you can navigate to the next screen. You can do all kinds of stuff. Like I can't express to you how crazy customizable this is. It's down to the most crazy detailed thing that you'd want to possibly do. So the first thing, obviously, that's a problem is we have 2 wattage settings here. I'm actually going to I'll go ahead and delete one of them. So we'll say delete control. Now we can see this is a little bit better. Now my profile, this is the one that was cut off earlier. So I'm going to make that a small font. So we'll make that small. You can see we got our alignments and all that sort of stuff. You can change your font color, the padding of stuff. It would be impossible to go through and show you all the things that you can do now with eScribe. But so you've seen the profile thing. If you double click on it, you can see what field it actually is. Here's all the different fields you got available. But obviously just shows you profile 1 for a placeholder. Your current wattage, if you're using temperature limiting, that'll be here. Settings is in this one how you link over to your other screens here on the side. And then this is just like a graphic, right? And it's the same thing. So if I didn't want, for example, the Evolve logo, which is just a picture that they put in here, you can just straight up just delete it. And then once you're done, you can say apply. And then upload settings to device.
So before putting them up, that's good.
What was that?
I said it checks them before putting them up, so that's good.
It does. And this build, for whatever reason, the uploading is taking many seconds longer than it used to. It used to be very quick. Lately, it's been a little bit slower. I think it may be because of the how thick this particular theme is. Because one thing you can do, what did I saw this earlier. Let's go to the theme designer, and you can say space used. Here it is. So no, it's actually pretty small. The other one that I've been using is quite large. You can see that you've got two different memory limits.
Wait, so now they have in crazy amounts of space of memory on the board, huh? You guys
Not much at all. You can actually run out really quick with the background.
Then never mind. I take that back, because you remember a long time ago that was attributed to one of the issues of not having enough memory on board to do certain things on the Vault boards. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. I think they've got more now, because you can obviously load your graphics and that kind of stuff, but you do run out quite quickly, especially if you got multiple backgrounds. So I think that's pretty much all we need to get into. Otherwise, we'll be here all night. The old stuff that you're used to in eScribe is still here. And you can watch your firing and your temperatures and all that stuff and the live
is
sort of
is
format.
it running a LiPo?
No, this has got a hardwired 650 in it.
Oh, okay.
So the other thing that I do want to say that's really good about this thing. So, if you want, let's go back to my regular profile. There we go. So if you want to, to have this sort of display, obviously this is, to your personal taste. And some people don't like it. Oh, by the way, there's like a lock thing too. You have to 5 clicks to get off of and on it, which is kind of cool.
You're potato.
I'm potato.
We're all potato tonight.
Are we? Okay.
To me, anyway.
Yeah, no, you guys are all potato to me. I look fine, but that's local. Obviously, that makes sense. No, there's no Canthal boost still. Sorry. I just saw that.
On the first day of Christmas.
So whether or not you want a big, complicated, flashy display is, that's personal taste, and that makes sense, and I understand that. One thing I will say, though, that's a good thing is one of the things I did not like about the DNA 75 when it first came out is when we were doing the testing, we found that it was limited to 6 volts. And with how, one of my preferred regulated vape coils is like 1.7 plus ohms. And you can't do that with 6 volts. This DNA 75C is 9 volts.
9.
So you can vape like 2.7 ohm coils now.
Yeah, and I think we should also mention, since I gave no eScribe for Mac shit, you can pretty much configure everything on that mod from the buttons.
Yes. So since this thing is, you got that extra enter button and you've got this totally customizable interface, you can change whatever you want, right? I mean, if you've set up your theme properly, you can change everything. You do not have to plug into eScribe anymore in order to do, to switch your different things. You don't have to have everything buried in a profile and like preset in the eScribe. You can have them, have it more on the go and adjusting on the go, which I think is a good thing.
What do you think about the size of the screen versus now, mind you, all these mods that have been out, even with the little bit fatter screens, have all kept it in a pretty good size, so it fits on sides of mods, on stuff that's high end, that looks nice. Now you have this big old Yeehee style, because I will venture out and say this, Yeehee style screen on the front of a mod.
Right. I think this is classier because it's smaller, personally. I will show you the difference. Compared to a big screen DNA, it's not all that much bigger, really. It's a little bigger, a little wider, but shorter. And it still fits on the same, edge that the other one had for a normal, the large screen DNA displays. I think it looks nice. I can see how you might not want it, but at the same time, with as customizable as it is, you can make it as simple as you like, right? If you didn't want much information on there. By the way, you can set it up to be a horizontally oriented as well.
Wait, it doesn't turn automatically?
It does not turn it automatically. I did suggest that.
Come on.
Oh, I'm selecting.
Come
Hold on.
on.
Let me get that masty face.
Honestly, I would be happy if they went back to the original like DNA 30, DNA 20, DNA 40 screens.
Yeah.
I love that blue so much.
And you can set this up like that, right? I'm sure, I am positive there will be people, now that it's kind of getting out there, there'll be people making themes, and you can download the .esig theme file or whatever. You can apply
like Winamp skins now.
I think, and I'm not sure, but I think they're still using the same connector for the screens. Now, that doesn't mean that the programming is going to work with those other screens, but one of the things that I would have liked seen on that board would have been it be a little bit smaller. Likewise,
smaller.
The board itself.
Yeah, the board is still
because next to a DNA 200 board, it's pretty much the same size.
Basically the same size.
So, but if the screen size was the end goal, then obviously, the board has to be, a little bit bigger. So,
a little bit bigger. And you still have the option though, right? You still got the DNA 60.
Yes.
The size of the old 40.
And I think somebody asked when Evolve was going to be releasing these, or if they were just doing it international. I believe that they were releasing to manufacturers next week.
I think some manufacturers already have it.
Yeah, some manufacturers already have it, but release to public, like monitors and stuff like that will be next week, I think. So.
Yeah. No, I think that's true because I've already seen a couple of their Chinese partners or whatever.
Oh yeah, somebody dropped it before the video was out.
Mr. Dry Knuckle.
But it weren't me.
No.
I was a good boy. I kept it off cam.
you kept it hidden from everybody.
So, dude, I didn't know you had one until like 2 weeks ago. I forgot you had one until like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. I've kept it on the DL like we're supposed to. So it's a cool board. It's definitely got a lot of customization possibilities. I think that part's cool. Do I really want a larger screen? I don't know that I find a whole lot of use in it. To me, I just soon have a DNA 60 with a small form factor so that I could put in a smaller mod personally. Because like Massey just said, it is a full-size board. I have not taken the board out to see the ribbon connector to the display, but I did take this apart, get the battery out of the way so I could see the board itself. It's not tiny.
And they Evolve is not shipping these with screen cradles or screen holders whatsoever. They come just like the old other ones were coming. So those you would have to print yourself or buy pre-made ones. So and you have a lot more area now to worry about with these screens. So
yeah,
it's gonna be
obviously a lot more. You can touch it easier too, right? Since it's wider. Yeah, your mitts can get down there.
How are the onboard buttons?
How
are the onboard buttons? I mean, they've been the DNA onboard buttons have been solid since the DNA 200, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. If you're using the pass-through, the board buttons, they've been great pretty much forever, unless you're talking about the what was it? The
purple ones.
The Chimera one wasn't very good, but I'm still not convinced that was using.
Well, honestly, I think a lot of the problems come from the machining of the parts that push down on the buttons. Because if you have any play side to side, I mean, that thing has to be perfect to be able to just, it is barely moving. So I don't think it's so much the buttons on the board from Evolve being shitty. I think it's the actuator. Whatever you're pushing down on.
Totally. I mean, this guy it's a very nice, tiny little, just like touching the button on the board itself, right? If you take the board out and just click it, it's awesome. I dig it a lot. But then there's some of them, like you said, that will, for whatever reason, if it's got, the side-to-side torque going on or whatever, or it's just grabbing on the side, just it's, restricted going through whatever holder, whatever faceplate you've got.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what I love about this button, the DNA 75 Limo one, because it's just a sliver of the piece over the button. It's
straight through.
So no play or anything, and you can meat fire it.
Meat fire.
Yeah, that's what I love about the DNA onboard button. You can meat fire it.
Absolutely. All right, I think that's probably about it. Unless there's any questions about the board. The theming thing is so big. I'm a geek. I program for a living, and all of the stuff available there. There's so much of it that I don't have time to deal with it. Like I'm gonna wait until somebody makes a better theme, and I'm just gonna use theirs. And I'll tweak it and change it around a little bit because that's what I did. One of the guys on the Alpha forum, he made a really good, kind of base interface that was really quite good. And so I basically went in there. I took the wallpaper out. I moved a couple graphics around. I made it look better for wattage and not temperature limiting. And that's about it. That's some minor tweaks as opposed to doing it from scratch and flowing through all the different screens. Nah, I got too much shit to do to mess with that. And there's some really talented skinners out there, right? I mean, like, there's people have been making skins for apps forever. I'm just not one of those guys.
Yeah, it's always fun for like a day, and then you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna use
it.
this.
Can't wait for the scrambled screen theme.
You know, like eggs show up on the screen. How awesome would that be?
It would
get some scrambled eggs to come up on the screen. That's the joke.
Yo, dog, I heard you like DNA 40s.
All right. Anything else? Flitz, you got anything going on? Anything you want to plug?
I'm still doing my show. Tuesday nights, Vape TV, the original Vape TV, not this other dumb stuff that people use. Vape TV, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Since December of 2010. I'd looked that up. I've been doing my show since December of 2010.
I was smoking mad cigarettes then, man.
It's crazy.
Have you taken a hit in viewers the last few months?
I get like a dozen viewers. I don't get a whole. I get like a core group of people that come and hang out. It's not too widespread. It's mostly just
he
people
lost his viewership when he stopped vaping 36.
Yeah, everybody was like, "Fucking pussy."
Fucking Flitz has gone mainstream, man. He's using a Pluto. Like,
he's so fucking mainstream. I can't believe he's not wearing a flat bill hat.
Next thing you know, he's gonna have a flat bill hat, like an affliction T-shirt or something.
Oh my dude! If Flitz like showed up to a con dressed like a club, he'd look like fucking Hans Moleman, like walking with the skateboard,
skateboard under my arm and a fucking like a Billabong vest or something.
How goes it, fellow students?
I think it would be amazing if Flitz took one of his classy outfits and converted that into a flat brim hat, cloud bro outfit. So like it was both. So like you took one of your cool retro button ups and then printed something on the front. That would be so good.
Or if he just did Flitz and just wore a flat brim, it would look like he put out a record and he has to wear a shitty hat just because it's branded merchandise he has to wear.
It's like yellow goggles.
Yeah, I've got like this whole image. I think that would be so funny. Oh my gosh!
It's fine. I would totally do it, but like I don't have a head for hats. I don't like.
Neither do most of those.
Hats don't suit me very well. But I'm looking at it. I've got my my bowler hat. Like that's the only hat I have. I only use that to cover my hair when I'm flying. But
nice.
Yeah, I thought about doing that like for Halloween or something to like dress up as Grim Green, but borrow his clothes.
I could think of better ideas.
I was gonna get a jean jacket, but I never found one. I was gonna
need one that somebody else has already.
Oh, his soccer mom jacket.
Like for a vape bash last year.
I think I took it off and wore it like in Pittsburgh. I think I totally looked better in it than he did.
So much fun to give him shit. He just got to go to. He went to fucking London though. Like that was one thing. I'm thinking about Vape Fest.
Yes.
Okay, in August. Yeah. I'm seriously thinking about going to that.
Did you? So Craig and Rick have been trying to get me to commit to go over there for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I just don't know how I can. It would be so much fun, I'm sure. But my wife would have the least amount of fun possible. Standing out in a field with a bunch of vapors. Can you imagine?
In another country, no less.
and she won't be able to understand what anybody is saying.
I know.
I mean, I'm trying to look at it from her point of view because I need to, right? If we're going to spend that kind of money to get over on a vacation, we're going to go to Europe, and you're going to go to the UK specifically, and have all this like cool history and countryside and stuff to explore, and we're going to go stand in a field with a bunch of vapors.
Yeah,
she would be so angry with me.
Because I've had relationships end because of vape events. Like
I'm sure.
the first event, like in 2010, the first one I went to, like was the destruction of my long-term relationship, because it's like, why are you hanging out with these strangers? What's so cool about all this? What's going on? I was like, I should have fucking left you home.
You wouldn't get it.
But yeah, I've been thinking about doing that, like, you know, go over there for like 10 days. And I mean, the two things on my list, like I want to see Stonehenge and I want to get to Loch Ness. And
Of
Loch
course.
Ness, I mean, Scotland's about 12 hours away. So, I mean, which it's funny because Texas is much bigger than Oklahoma. Oklahoma is bigger than England.
Oh yeah.
And so they're all, because, you know, you hear them talking about like, oh, I have to drive like 3 hours to go to the other side of the country. But I'm like, dude, it takes me 4 hours to get across my state. Like,
Seriously.
A fucking week to get the other side of the country.
yeah.
I mean, you could drive in Texas like 70 miles an hour straight across the whole freaking state, and it takes you like 13 hours.
Yeah. It's like, I can't get to Galveston in 9 hours. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know how much there is in Texas. Like, it's got, because Texas, I know it's bigger than France, but
Oh, yeah.
I never realized that England was as small as it was.
Yeah. But the roads are slower and they don't go as straight.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But they have trains.
Because you're right. It does take a long time to get from end to end.
Yeah.
Fast ass trains.
We were in London. We took a train up to Inverness or Inversnecky, up, which is where right by Loch Ness.
Yeah.
And it took us a while on a train.
Now, are the trains nice?
Yeah.
Are they like, I mean, because we don't have trains like that.
No.
Because I was like, I've never really been on an actual train.
Not a train that's
it was
worth the
pretty
shit
nice.
to ride on.
No, dude, the infrastructure's not there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
expensive. Like we weren't built for trains. At least like Europe
Yeah.
like stayed small and kept their roads small, and they didn't have Native Americans to take land from, so
It's
they
true.
kind of just stayed within a small little space.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing because like I've been on a zoo train, you know, for
Yeah.
kids. Like that's the only train I've ever been on. And they're like, yeah, we take trains every day. They go like 200 miles an hour or whatever they, you know, and it's like,
Right.
that's insane. That's great. I want to do that.
It's cool. So, like, if you've been on the L in Chicago or the subway in New York or one of those kind of places, like, think that, but nice, like nicer.
Yeah.
It's nicer than that, but that's it. It's the same idea. It's nice. It was very enjoyable transportation mode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I'd like the nice mode of transportation on ground I can get wasted during.
You know,
I
down
can only
here,
fit so many beers in my cup holder behind the
down
wheel.
here they keep talking about, you know, the light rail and the high speed rail from like Miami to Orlando to Tampa. You know, I mean, like that would be awesome. So great. You know, they're pushing for it. You know, there's just a bunch of, come on, man, we're flat as shit. I mean, it you know, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, someone did the math and they found out that it's actually a little bit slower to drive, but way cheaper, even including gas. And you know, because of all the stops and the slow down areas that they have to slow down through and all that. So it's like you're already behind the eight ball when it comes to doing this, and it's like, you know, it just keeps getting shot down. But you know, it would be nice to, you know, especially from Miami, because a lot of people fly to Miami, but they're here to go to the theme parks. So they don't fly to Orlando, you know, especially if they're flying international or whatever. And,
Hey, and
so
if you go there, then you can get on the monorail.
yeah,
Monorail.
you can get on the monorail. Yeah.
Monorail.
Get shot.
What'd you say?
Get shot.
Monorail
Monorail. Monorail. So
That's
really,
a good
puts
spot
the
to leave
mule
it.
on a spinning wheel.
It's a good spot to shut it down, I think, on a simple.
sounds good.
All right, everybody.
Well,
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you,
Flitz,
Flitz, for
We'll
coming
see you
on.
guys next week.
Yeah, Felicity,
Thank you,
thanks
Flitz.
for coming on.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
Charlie Murphy, rest in peace.
Peace, everybody.
Darkness
See ya.
is